Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we certainly do have a cup of coffee with us, as per usual. Now, funny enough, I swear it has rained for the past 2 weeks. I get here to record today, and today is actually quite a lovely day. Upper 80s, low 90s, and quite a pretty day. Just some scattered clouds, but no rain, so sadly, no rain today, but today was the best day for me to do kind of a batch recording of all the books that I've kind of been reading over the past week or so. I've been trying to do batch recording because it really helps me to, it gives me time to make notes as well as kind of compile books that I have been reading, want to read, and kind of get some lined up for you guys, as well as kind of go through my comments, go through some of my emails, and see what you guys are kind of like reading, talking about, look through some book talk, those sorts of things, and see what I want to talk about. So, anyway, with our coffee ready, I'm literally double fisting. I've got like a canned coffee, I've got hot coffee. I've got my tablet over here for some notes. I've got a little bit on my computer as well. So I think I am good to go to talk to you guys about a book called The House Where Death Lives. And it's edited by Alex Brown. Now, the reason I say edited by Alex Brown is because this is an anthology, or this is kind of a compilation of short stories by multiple authors. And so we will start from there. Now, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of the summary, and we will see what we think. Now, I gave it 4 stars, and yeah, we'll see what we think. A Dance to the Death, a girl who's just as monstrous as H.H. Holmes, a hallway that's constantly changing and hungry. All these stories exist in the same place, within the same frame of a particular house that isn't bound by the loss of time and space. Following in the footsteps of dark horror-filled YA anthologies like His Hideous Heart and Slasher Girls and Monster Boys, and Netflix groundbreaking adaptations of The Haunting of Hill House, this YA speculative fiction anthology explores how the permanence of a home can become a space of transition and change for both the inhabitants and the creatures who haunt them. So, it does say that each story in the anthology will focus on a different room in the house and feature unique takes on monsters from a wide array of cultural traditions. If I could speak, that would probably help a lot. Whether it's a demonic trickster or a water-loving Rusalka or a horrifying baby imitating Tianak? That's a word I might have to work on. There's bound to be something sinister lurking in the shadows. This book does come out, or apparently did come out, April 6th of 2024. I did get this as a NetGalley ARC, but I do not think my review was due in April, because I think it's still an active book on my account. So I'm not sure 100%, but it does say it was first published August 6th of 2024, and so we will accept that as maybe it was like an ebook. And okay, and so it does say expected publication of August 6th by Page Street YA, so maybe it's getting a hardcover edition in August by Page Street YA. So there we go. I just had to click another little button just to get to see. I think the Kindle edition came out in April. And it's kind of a cool little cover. I mean, as we do, we put our covers over here so I can make sure you guys can see what we're talking about. I hate to talk about books and then you guys not know, which is why I try to put at least cover art over here to ensure that we are highlighting these books appropriately. Now, it does say Alex Brown is a Locus-nominated queer, biracial, Filipino-American writer who loves to root for the final girl, especially if she's a monster. And I thought that was kind of cool. Alex's YA comedy horror debut, Damned If You Do, was a Junior Library Guild Gold Star Standard selection and was selected for Tayasha's reading list. So that's kind of cool. So it does say that Alex's horror anthology will be out on August 2024 and is a Junior Library Guild Gold Standard selection. So there we go. Now, I pulled up a list of the books, and I think this book was fun. Now, each individual story is unique in itself because each story is by a different author. And so you do get different voices, different tones, and different levels of writing proficiency. Some writers are better than other writers. And so the first book, or the first story that we get, it starts in the attic. And I thought that was pretty cool because, of course, you start at the top of the house. And I like that. I thought that was really clever. So right off the bat, we enter this situation where this girl is in this attic room, and it sounds like she's been trapped or kind of put up here, possibly as punishment by her family, by her parents, and the mirror in her room keeps fogging over, and messages are like appearing. And it's just really cleverly done. I thought that was a great way to start this anthology off. And so as we finished that story, and of course each of these stories has their own little twists, own little turns. We do have one story where the hallways in the house change and they try to trap you. We have one story where this girl throws parties, and pretty much each night someone becomes a victim as she drains, or a different force drains their life force away. And those stories are not innately connected. They're connected by the house itself. It's almost as though someone asked these writers, hey, I want you to write a story about, like, tell me a story about a house, like a haunted house. And, you know, focus it on a specific part of the house, the kitchen, the bathroom, what have you. And then that's what they did. They took all of those stories together and they organized them in such a way so that way they did encompass a single house. So I really liked that, but you could tell that the writers maybe weren't always writing about the same house. And that's okay. I mean, everyone's going to picture a house differently. When you say, I want you to write a story in a haunted house. I want you to write me a story in the hallway of a haunted house, the bedroom of a haunted house, the bathroom, a baby's room, that sort of thing. And that's pretty cool. But the thing is you're always going to picture something different than the other person. And I think that also translates to no two people read the same book. So I think that's where this book also kind of encounters just a little bit of confusion, in my personal opinion. Is this book gave me I think it was like, do you remember like scary stories to tell in the dark? Like, I'll try to put a picture of it if I can think of like what the actual book looks like. It looks like it's like black and white skull head looking thing. I'll try to remember and put a little picture of it. But this book, that's what I picture. This is YA gothic horror for me. When I grew up, this was the book that was like, this set the tone for spooky books. Now for me, now for some people it was like Goosebumps, some people it was like Fear Street, some people it was like other scary books, and there's tons of them back there. Like, I mean, the late 80s, early 90s, and around that time period was like a treasure trove of like spooky books, spooky ghost books, and I love that so much. And I think this has a similar vein to that sort of vibe, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know his Hideous Heart and Slasher Girls or Monster Boys. I don't know those books to really be able to equate it to those. I've seen the adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House, and I really liked it. But that was definitely adult, where this is definitely not that. This is far more YA. I think it attempts to be a little more adult, but I don't think it quite gets there the way it tries to. And I kind of wish it could have, like, some of the stories could have been edited or tweaked a little bit, just a little bit more, to maybe get them there a little bit. But that's okay. Like I said, some of the authors, you could kind of tell that they're maybe new at the craft or newer to the craft, and probably could have used a little bit of additional guidance to hone that skill a little bit more. I still gave this book 4 stars because I really did enjoy it. I kind of wish I had read this book in maybe the October season, September-October season. I think this would have been a really good read for the fall season. So that's kind of where I'm going to recommend: get yourself a cup of hot chocolate, let the leaves start to fall, let the spooky vibes of that season start to come around, and then try to give this book a read. You do not have to read it in order. You do not have to read any of the stories or anything like that in any sort of specific manner. Just read whichever ones sound good for you. So Good Morning Georgia, Good Morning Georgia is the first one. That's the one about the girl in the attic. Cradle and All, really good. After Midnight, The Gray Library, Mirror Mirror, Let's Play a Game, What Lies in Silence. So many good ones. But you really do get a collection of 20 plus stories to be able to dive into in whatever order you want. And I think that's the most fun about reading anthologies, is you get to read it in whatever manner you want. You don't have to read it in the order that they present it to you. You don't have to read it from attic to basement. You don't have to read it whatever title or chapter sounds good to you. Read that one and see what you think. Because, like I said, they're not intrinsically linked except because they're in the same house. So there you go. But I'd love for you to come back and tell me, if you do read it, what you think, or what your favorite chapter was, or what your favorite part was, and we can compare notes, because I thought this was kind of fun. I thought it was a really clever way to build an anthology by building it based on different parts of the house. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think, and I really hope I will see you guys on the next page. And let me know what you think about The House Where Death Lives, edited by Alex Brown. And I will see you guys later. I hope you will like and subscribe. Bye.